Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding for one and all. By listening to what our politicians say so we can better able to watch what they do. I want to use this opportunity to jump on something that the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs in the current administration of the Jamaica Labour Party said. She addresses the issue of the election and when election is due and the prerogative of the Prime Minister call an election whenever he so does or wants to. And of course, I noticed that Dr. Light Barnett, one of our constitutional experts, also commented on the matter. And he agreed with Miss Marlene Malafort's comment as far as the law is concerned. And I also will add to that, Miss Malafort, that you are absolutely right as far as the law is concerned. But I'm not worried about what the law says in terms of that, because we can all research that and anybody could repeat that. But for you to come out and say that at this time, again, it bothers me to the point where, why now? Why would you want to comment on what the law says now and in terms of election? You know, when Marco Rubio visited Jamaica, I contemplated a lot of things. And one of the things that I contemplated, Miss Malawi Fort, is what position will this leave the government in right now? And will the government be scrambling for time to postpone the election? Because as it is right now, this visit by Marco Rubio and from the Donald Trump administration does not put the Jail People's Party in a favorable position as far as the election is concerned right now. They're treading deep waters. And if I were the leader of the party right now, I wouldn't feel safe to call an election absolutely when it is due. So my conclusion, Ms. Malafort, for your comment at this time is that as the person in charge, or the minister in charge of legal and constitutional affairs on behalf of the government, you are now laying the foundation for the government to seek putting off this election for as long as they want to, until they find themselves in a more favorable position. And if this is so, Miss Marlene Malaufort, I can only say if this is real, then that would be a conclusion for me that my contemplation was spot on. And it was spot on not just because of the visit to Marco Rubio, but because I do believe the Andrew Holness administration coming out of that meeting was not upfront with the people of Jamaica. And I'll repeat what I said in my last postings about that issue. The decision that was made by the government was not made on behalf of the people, was made in the interest of the country. And you are the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs for the government. That means you have a law degree. I don't have a law degree, ma'am, so I'm not versed on it. And I'm not gonna lay any expertise here online. All my thing is, I said it's my opinion. You would know very well, because I know you did not comment. This comment coming from you was not arbitrary, it was not done on your own. There has to be some consultative thing behind the scene. And you're now authorized and allowed to say what you have to say. And just to repeat myself, the conclusion from me, based on my opinion and my understanding of what is happening, is the government is trying to buy time with this election. I know for a fact that Marco Rubio did not represent America when he came to Prime Minister visit the country to see the Minister of Holiness. Marco Rubio, as I said, represented America's, not America's interests, but Donald Trump's interests. Donald Trump's interests. And as some pundit says, as some pundit articulated, it's a win-win situation. But I know Donald Trump and his representatives do not enter win-win negotiations with anyone. It has to be what Donald Trump wants. And to paraphrase or quote Donald Trump, I'd say, Minister Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, you do not hold the cards. You have no bargaining chip in that negotiation. Because that's now Donald Trump's favorite line. You don't hold the cards, you don't have any talk here. We dictate what happens. Last person he said it to was the Ukraine Prime Minister, Zelensky. Now the only thing we the people can ask, and I want to use this opportunity to shine the light on the people, not on the politicians. Because I'm not here for PNP and I'm not here for JLP. I'm here for the people of Jamaica to understand clearly that we need to demand that our politicians be honest with us up front. Because the time for voting shouldn't be about who you're voting for. It should all be about, why am I voting? What's the reason for voting here? What's the cause for voting? Not about who we are voting for or who we are voting for. That kind of crap should be over long ago, people. We now need to start to vote for reason. What's the cause? What am I voting for? When I listen to what the PNP says in their manifesto, I read their manifesto as to listen to what they're offering the country going forward. Now, this is something that I like. This is something I think will have a great chance, if implemented as they say. This is something that will take the country forward. And this is what we want to see. Also for the JLP people. If you think the Prime Minister is on a good course economically right now, you figure he should be given another term to continue his growth and promotion, and whatever he has in his manifesto and whatever plans they have for the country, well, I'll vote for that. But don't vote because you vote for Andrew Holness and JLP. That time should be long over. I don't want to elaborate on that too much. That time should be long gone. But I know, Mr. Prime Minister and JLP, that your party is buying time. And as indicated, as stated in the law, you can delay that election up to 3 months after September, which is October, November, December. And you may call it in January because you don't want to interrupt the Christmas season. So that election you can reasonably call that election in 2026. But that's your prerogative, sir, and the law allows you to do some flexibility with the election due date and all of that, so. But the honest thing about it is that you're really buying time because you're not in safe waters right now. The party is not in safe waters. And ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans all over, look at this carefully. I've said it before. Any government, any party formed the next government is going to have a hell of a time governing the country. I'm repeating this as I go along because I want people to remember this at all times because it's going to come to pass. I know it will come to pass. And notice how the election is being campaigned. Notice how both parties campaigned on this election, what they are pitching. Notice carefully. All the fancy talk, just look behind, dig deep and look behind the fancy talk. The PNP is doing everything to hand the election to victory to the JLP. The JLP, on the other hand, is doing everything to hand victory to the PNP. What does that tell you? Common sense knowledge. What does that tell you? You don't need to dig into the politics of it. But common sense tell you that these two parties are very much aware of what is awaiting them. And this is based on the fact of how the economy, world economy are changing and people are forming, creating different blocks all across the country. I want to also add some meat to what I just said. There's a little country out there that most of us, a lot of us will be aware of, and a lot of us still won't know. Even for some of us, we might never heard the name. Notice this didn't make any big headlines, even though it was published in the Atlanta Times here. It didn't make any big headlines. For most political analysts, most of the cable networks station in the country and across the world, it didn't make much headline. But this little country, Lesotho, why did they end up with the highest tariff in the world from Donald Trump? Why? A little country, a population of 2.3 million people, ended up with the highest tariff Donald Trump has imposed on any country so far. Why? Well, just a little backdrop with Lesotho. America is America. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness, I know you know that. You might have heard that news and pick it up because I know you guys follow world news internationally right across and international relationships and all of these things. And trade agreements and both local, regional and international. So this is something you might be aware of yourself and PNP as well. Why such a little country, 2.3 million people, where 75% of its population live below the poverty line? Most of it. 50% of its population live below the poverty line, I should say. Not 75, sorry about that, Lesotho. And 25% of its population is unemployed. 2.3 million people. It's a textile producing country. Textile. It's a textile manufacturing country. That's its key industry. Textile. 75% of all textile produced is shipped to the US, traded to the US. So the US is their biggest trading partner right now. Right? But out of the blues, Donald Trump just decided to place the highest tax tariff on this country. Highest tax rate on this little country. In 2024, they made $240.3 million, not billion, 240.3 million US dollars from trade with the US. Here is Donald Trump's reason now for taxing Lesotho out of existence. So a little country like that, and you impose Donald Trump imposed a 99%. Donald Trump said Lesotho has a 99% tariff on all goods coming from America to them. So he has a reason to now impose a 50% tariff on Lesotho. Now, when quizzed about this, Donald Trump has no proof. Because even the people, the administrators in Lesotho, are baffled. I lost where this man comes up with this figure from. Donald Trump is not in a win-win negotiation with anyone. He's tariffing the whole world. Listen carefully here now. He promised to tariff the whole world except for one country. Russia. I know there's a Putin in Russia, but this one is not Rasputin. This is not Rasputin. So, and I'm quite sure our economists back home in Jamaica recognize the isolationism that is going on here. Because America is actually isolating itself economically, militarily, culturally, socially. In every way it's isolating itself from the world because of one man. What our present government has refused to tell us. Because America is now, the recession has started in America. And what our government has refused to tell us is exactly how they're going to deal with this. We're making all this fancy speech. Even Andrew Holness is making these fancy speech coming out of that meeting with Marco Rubio about trading partners and cultural development and one heap of crap. And you only thought that feel-good story, sir. All the people need from politicians is honesty. All they need from... But let us talk about Lesotho. When Donald Trump made the baseless and proven claim that Lesotho charges a 99% tariff on U.S. goods, the people in Lesotho woke up shocked to hear this news. Because they know it's a lie. Because Donald Trump himself couldn't provide any proof to that. No proof. Even the government of Lesotho was so shocked. The very first question they asked, how did this man arrive at a 50% tariff on them? How did he arrive at it? They are aware, of course, it's going to cost America consumers more. Notice I haven't tell you yet what they imported to America. But also because they're such a small country, and depending on the inflows and their outflows, what's going to happen for them is, with this 50% tariff and their goods to America, it's going to reduce their competitiveness in the marketplace, which is going to create a downward effect for them, a negative effect on their production. So in the long run, people are going to lose jobs, production is going to close down. So immediately they start to seek markets. Immediately they start to seek new trading blocks. Now remember, this is a small country. They also export diamonds, water, power, which is energy and electricity, and some other little things they import. They trade with places like Botswana, Namibia, Swaziland, etc. etc. Now they're looking to expand further into Africa. You understand? Now they're looking to... Here's what now? Lesotho export to America. You see all them Wrangler jeans and them Levi jeans that people are wearing, and a brag and boast, Lesotho manufacture most of it. Lesotho manufacture most of it. 75% of which is sent to America, it's traded to America. 75% is traded to America. So you know, when you do that and when you understand that agreement, it's a dollar value thing. Everything comes down to the dollar. It's a dollar value thing on Lesotho Spark. In 2024, listen this. In 2024, the U.S. Lesotho bilateral trade stood at $240.1 million. World Bank classifies this country as a lower middle income one, with nearly half of its 2.3 million population living below the poverty line. 50%, nearly 50% of its 2.3 million is living below the poverty line. Said that before. 25% of which are unemployed. You understand? Like I said, it does some outside trading with Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, Swaziland, etc. Other places in Africa. And so already starting to look at other places, finding new market, Mr. Prime Minister. You understand? It is looking to find new markets. Now, Lesotho, Mr. Prime Minister, though, I use Lesotho as an example because Lesotho, according to Donald Trump, doesn't hold the cards. And we would like to know what chip you hold, Mr. Andrew Holness, what the government of Jamaica, what cards they hold that you think you can get any reasonable anything out of America. In the long run, America doesn't care about you. Donald Trump doesn't care one hell about you or Jamaica. What Donald Trump cares about is what Donald Trump wants. And I am nobody, sir. I don't have no power, I don't have no authority. I'm not a big supporter of no party, neither PNP nor JLP. I don't support none of them. But I'm just trying to support the people's understanding of politics. And for people to understand that when you now vote, you gotta learn to vote for something, not for people anymore. Because that's where the real corruption lies. The politicians have you in such a brainwashed condition that he knows you believe and gobble up everything they say. So as long as he can keep you in that kind of position, that mindset, where you vote for people and not for a purpose, not for a cause. You see no benefit in what you're voting for. You can't identify. Because when you ask them on the street, why do you vote for JLP? Why PNP for go? Then can't stop JLP, JLP forever, JLP is best thing for the country. And what not? You can't explain. Same thing with the PNP. JLP no good. JLP is a corrupt and thief and criminal party. I hear one man named Lonesome, Wayne Lonesome or something. If it was him alone, he would have killed every JLP supporter. If he had as if he had the autonomy and the authority to do it, he would have killed every JLP and bury all of them. I only left PNP people. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of bitterness and the kind of stupidity we want to take out of the politics and be more sensible, because this doesn't destroy politics. It doesn't destroy government. It doesn't destroy politicians. It destroys us. It destroys us. We need to now start to vote for a reason, a cause, a purpose. We now have to start to pay close attention to what politicians are saying, so we can watch what they do in the long run. The latest thing that is done, that is right in front of our eyes, that I'm sure most people be able not reading into this, which is something I've been contemplating for days now, since Marco Rubio visit to Jamaica. His visit is nothing to talk about. And I know the JLP government is treading deep waters right now. And I've been saying this to a couple of friends of mine. The election is going to be delayed. How do you know that? So listen, it's common sense. Common sense. When you take not the time to listen to what these politicians are saying and what happens, you will never understand and get a good grasp of what is happening around you. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to use this opportunity once again to say hi to all Jamaicans home and abroad. I can't hate PNP and I not hate in a jail P and I not call nobody no criminal and no liar and no corrupt. I'm not doing that. That's not my thing. You understand? Because it doesn't matter what you want to do. You can't have a belly without a back. Joe the whale. You understand? You can't have a belly full without hungry. That's a very sure. So we live in a relative world whereby the wheat and the thorns has to go until the day of harvest. But during that time we have to be sensible enough. We have to use our brain, we have to think for ourselves. We have to be understanding enough to know what we want from life, not what we are expecting to get. Ladies and gentlemen, let me use this opportunity once again to welcome all Jamaicans, all people, just about everyone, home and abroad. I'm trying to get this YouTube show across to be broadcasted in other places, because I know Jamaicans is all over the world, wherever we are. I wanna get people involved, Jamaicans. Share your 2 cents, because there's some real knowledgeable Jamaicans out there in the world. Sensible Jamaicans who can put forth some real critical and serious ideas, who can become an integral part of as the solution to Jamaica's problem. You understand? Instead of we are here cursing out JLP and cursing out PNP. Because we all seems to know the answers. All seems to know the problem, but not the answers. And every opposition party in Jamaica have the answers for every problem. When you're in opposition, when you get inside there, you have no answer. Or mostly none. So we need people. I'm doing this promotion just to get people, more people involved, Jamaicans all over. We have brilliant scholars all over the place. Brilliant, brilliant people. So I just want to appeal to everyone who hears this video, watch this video. I mean, give it your likes, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you. Leave a comment in the comment column. I'm not afraid whether it's negative or positive. That's fine. A lot of people comment. I see some people comment, boy, I don't know what you're talking gibberish. I don't know. So I don't know what kind of language you speak, my brother, but that's fine. I'm glad. It gives me an idea that I probably may need to be to bring more clarity to what I'm saying. So I'm glad for it, and that's fine. But the impediment I'm suffering is mine, not yours. So I have to fix that, not you. So keep it coming, brother. That's fine. That is fine. I'm glad. Ladies and gentlemen, give this a thumbs up. Let us come together. Subscribe, comment, share, and talk to each other about politics. Not about what I'm saying. We talk to each other about politics. How do I believe what my MP is telling me? Why should I believe what he's telling me? Because he have said things before. MPs before him have said things and nothing happened. So why should I believe this one? That's the way politics work. Because they know we're not paying attention to them. We just take it as we go along. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to use this opportunity to yell up Jamaica and all Jamaicans all over the world. All Jamaicans. Yeah, man, when you find a chance and opportunity, say something about your country, man. Offer some advice, because we need it to become a better place. The world is changing around us and changing fast. And if we continue to be useful idiots and led blindly by politicians, we're going to wake up one day. And wake up too late. But Mr. Politicians, I can tell you, at that time you won't be able to say sorry. You won't be able to tell us sorry, because the damage is already done. And would have already been done. So there's no need for you even to say, I'm sorry. Because that won't help no one at that time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Blessed love Jamaica all over the world. subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Thank you very much. Be blessed. See you again.